Hello, everyone. I hope you guys are excited on this Saturday early morning session. And thanks a lot for joining in on a weekend. I hope you guys will like this session and it'll be worth your time. And I know it'll be worth your time because we have great speaker. So coming to the point, what's going to happen today? Right. So I'm going to take you through what's going to happen today, basic agenda of the session, what you're going to learn, how can you start your journey in RPA, getting started with RPA, how to build your first bot, introduce a speaker, he'll take you through everything. He'll show you how cool the automation is using RPA, and eventually how can you build your career in robotic process automation. So the last point which I covered, build your career in robotic process automation, will not be covered in this session, but eventually the session on 30th, the mails will be sent to everyone for that. And do join in because we have a great panel. We have HR leads, we have people who has been in the industry for 15 years, and I know it's gonna go great. So coming back, why RPA? Right, the learning curve for RPA is really low, and the feasibility of RPA working with other technologies, other applications is really great. And we all know that the work stress and the workload is improving by the time, and we need pause to do our work. So I won't take much of your time. I'll just go ahead with what RPDC is, and then hand over the session to a speaker. So RPDC, basically Robotic Process Automation Developer Camp, is an initiative by UiPath community and Hacker Skill, which aims to provide support and a roadmap to the students to start their journey in RPA. Not the students, but to the community to start their journey in RPA. We all know that there's a myths and facts around RPA, and we tend to clear all of them and help you with the free resources, free guidance, so that you can start a journey in RPA and avail your benefits. By benefits, I mean industry connects, goodies, certificates, and a lot more. So, without wasting time, I invite Ishmit Bindra, who is senior Python developer at Incubate and also a UiPath MVP, to share his experience and take you through what RPA is and all the points which I have mentioned in the agenda. So, let me just bring it up to the screen. Hey, Ishmit, hi, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I hope my audio is clear.
Yes, you are clear, Ishmit.
Perfect. Okay. Thank you so much for joining, everyone. I know that you could be doing a lot of things to enjoy over the weekend at this point of time, and for most of you, weekend must be starting right now. At least for me, it does. But it's great to see all of you join at 11 a.m. on this session. and I think we can get started now. So, today we are
Sure.
here. Okay, thank you. So, today we are here to discuss, or you can say, introduce RPA. I'm your host. I'm your speaker, Ishmeet Bindra. As in it said, I'm a senior Python developer, but I have been involved in RPA community for quite some time now. I'm a UiPath MVP and a two-time UiPath hackathon winner as well. With that said, let's go and introduce RPA. So as Anuj rightly said that RPA is having a low learning curve, but I would like to go a bit. I would like to take a step back and just talk about what exactly RPA is. So RPA, you can say, is a technology which mimics human actions. So RPA stands for Robotic Process Automation. Why we say robotic process automation? We are not creating any hardware bots. We are creating software bots to repeat whatever human is doing on his particular machine. Earlier, we used to create macros for this particular thing, but macros were limited. You must have seen macros within Excel, within a couple of other applications as well that support it, which allows you to replicate the hotkeys that you press. But RPA goes way, way beyond that. RPA allows you to actually utilize capabilities of screen scraping, machine learning, website scraping, and a lot more. So you can actually record human inputs with the help of the keyboard and mouse. Whatever they are typing there, whatever they are clicking, you can record it with the help of RPA. And you can even fetch this data from the screen very, very easily, as you will see here. Because what I've observed, like what I've observed in many other technologies, because right now working as a Python developer, I understand that implementing similar kind of a thing within any other programming language takes a lot of knowledge. Okay, by knowledge I mean you need to learn about a couple of libraries, you need to know a couple of commands in order to get the data from screen. And obviously every time it's not easy. There are ways in which website developers or software developers can actually block you from extracting the key data, and that is something that you need to be intelligent about, that how you can extract it. RPA allows you to circumvent all these, you can say, problems by providing you a proper framework for extraction and proper tools for extraction, and obviously performing action by typing or clicking or anything like that. So it becomes really, really straightforward. Now you don't have to focus on learning how to extract; you have to focus on automating your process. Okay, so that is why the learning curve within RPA is low. Why? Because you don't have to focus on the techniques of extraction, like how internally it is working. Obviously, it's very good if you know about it, but you just need to focus on the business use case of what you're automating. In a couple of seconds, you can complete the extraction step, and you should be good to go. And that is what I will be showing you in today's demo as well. Okay, so let's talk a little bit more, like what are the five major points why RPA is good. So like I said, it essentially mimics human actions. It can operate on any given application, be it an application based on Java, .NET, Electron framework, anything. It can work. It is capable enough of recognizing structured data, and this is very important, because think about it. If in front of your screen you're having a tabular information and you're having a string on a separate, you can say, section, I want the tabular information to be extracted in a tabular format, or in a table, or as a table or a data table. But on the same page, I want the string to be extracted, or the text to be extracted in the string format. So RPA allows me to do that. RPA allows me to make this distinction, and it allows me to extract these things separately very, very easily. Then comes your, it's very quick to implement and powerful to scale. So obviously, like I said before, you don't have to learn how to extract by what are the commands to extract. You just have to know that I have to use this activity to extract some stuff. So basically, the development becomes quite, you can say, easy, and it's like developing on. It's like something which allows you to do development on steroids, because now instead of spending, let's say, weeks or months to develop a particular product, you can actually spend just a couple of days to spin up a product which is good enough to do a particular work for you, and a little bit more time to do proper exception handling, reporting, and everything. So that is how powerful RPA is. It saves you months of development time, and obviously, since we are programming it, it depends upon us. If we are programming it right, then in production we won't be seeing any mistakes, and a bot can run 24 hours without resting. This is why RPA is very important, because see, ultimately what the goal of RPA is to automate each and every process that is being done by human, which is repeated and which follows strict business rules, and within which we don't see much change. These three things are very important, and I will repeat. The process should have steps which are well defined. The step A particular person repeats those particular steps multiple times in the day, or maybe multiple times in a week or a month, and those steps take a lot of time to perform. And finally, the steps don't change a lot. By that I mean, it should not be like that, okay, today we have 10 steps, tomorrow we will be having 15 steps. If that's the scenario, then the process is not for RPA. But talking about like how many number of processes actually support the first three criteria that I defined, it's a huge number. Even in small organizations, you can consider payroll. Or let's consider a college scenario. So basically, what you do is you go to examination or examination hall and give your paper. Every year you go to same room in the college and give your paper, or you go to same room in the college and attend the class. It is a repetitive process. Okay, it is a repetitive process because you're performing exactly same steps. The only time it changes is when your final comes and you might have to go to a different college. That is an exception. But apart from that, for entire year we could automate this particular thing from human perspective. But obviously this is not a company scenario. I'm just trying to relate this particular thing to you. That's the idea here. That steps which are repeating and are not changing a lot, or process in which steps are repeating and are not changing a lot, that is very much suitable for RPA. Now, let's talk about what RPA is. RPA isn't a hardware bot. It's not walking, it's not talking, or it's not even humanoid. So basically, it's having intelligence for sure, or you can introduce intelligence in it, but its intelligence is also quite limited. By limited, I mean like it can detect, it can detect how many number of objects are available in an image. It can detect that, okay, whether my product line, how well my product line is performing in a given scenario. It can also detect a couple of other things, and it can also perform actions on the basis of that. But if you ask it like, okay, I want to do x thing randomly without providing any other input, it won't be able to do that, because RPA is here to follow what exactly human does. If you haven't programming it, if you haven't programmed it within the process, it won't be able to do that. Then it's not a warehouse bot. It's not that kind of a bot that you see in those Amazon videos where it is sorting the item or delivering it to proper, section, proper station for for further packaging and everything. It's not that. And finally, human replacement. This is the biggest fear factor, I'll say, which dictates whether a particular organization will implement RP or not, which is human replacement. Wherever we have tried to implement RPA, I personally have been successful in implementing RPA in multiple organizations. And every time I introduce RPA in a team, the biggest fear a particular team is having, that what will happen to our jobs if RPA is implemented. Well, that is true that you won't be doing same kind of work, but that is also a blessing in disguise. Because see, we know people, we know hundreds of people actually who worked on a particular process for n number of years. Some were even working for more than 5, you can say, plus years, performing same, let's say, 20 steps day in and day out, and they were doing that because of the sheer volume of the input that they were receiving for those steps. So, a particular person who is having 5 years of experience, yes, He's considered quite valuable in that team. But if you consider from the company's perspective, that person could be utilized in a better way because he's having 5 years of experience and he could actually lead something. He could actually take up more responsibilities, but he cannot right now. Why? Because he's overwhelmed with the work, and you know, that's why we introduce RPA. So that 5 year person thinks that okay, I might now be obsolete because I don't know anything else to do, and that is exactly the scenario that RPA is trying to eliminate. See, if a particular process is automated, automatically you get a new job, you get a new work to do. Like I said, RPA can automate literally anything, but there are limitations to any given technologies. And in those limitations, human involvement is required. RPA cannot automate, or at least this is the recommendation from many companies that RPA should not be implemented for entirely new process. So if a process is just coming or just being introduced within your organization, don't pick that up. So if you can consider that particular thing as a new subject that just got introduced, let's say you just artificial intelligence just got introduced within your team or within your college. Now it will be great that if everyone picks it up, but typically for existing students that's not the scenario. What happens is that we typically introduce that particular thing to the new batch because we know that if a new batch will essentially work on that particular thing, that will be great. Same kind of scenario is here that for all the new processes, we typically want humans to understand it first, and then once the process is stable, we will implement it throughout RP, or we will implement it with the help of RP. Okay, so coming to this particular thing, like what can RPA do, or what can robots do? Just these are just like this is just tip of the iceberg that is in front of you, which is log into any application, move files and folders, read and write to databases, scrape the data from web, connect to any system APIs, extract the contents from documents, make calculations, so on and so forth. You can go through this particular thing, but like I said, this is just tip of the iceberg. RP can do much more. Then comes what all are the sectors where RPAs can be utilized? Well, it can be utilized in education, supply chain, IT, HR, client services, accounting, and operations. Within education, it can very well be used to calculate, let's say, payroll of a particular person, or payroll of the teachers, or to, you can say, consolidate the scoring of a particular class, generate the average scoring report for past 10 years, and send it to the principal, showing them that okay, this class has consistently been in a decline or on a rise on average score throughout the class. That particular thing can actually help a particular principal of any school or dean of a college to get an idea of how a particular batch is performing and how it performed as compared to last 10 years, and maybe make some changes if required. Now obviously doing it on purpose manually takes time, and a dean or a principal does not have enough time. But if a RPA bot can be programmed, which runs, let's say, every 6 months, that is great. Now, Dean does not have to worry about generating the report on its own. It knows that on, let's say, June 1st, it will be receiving the first report, and on December 1st, it will be receiving the second report. So that's very great. Supply chain, obviously, inventory management is a big thing. We can program RPA to make sure that whatever items are incoming should be greater than, or you can say, should suffice the requirement of the warehouse. So if anyone like almost all of you must have gone to one or another type of supermarket. You see that there are a lot of things that are available there for us to buy. Now, how do they manage whether the inventory of a particular thing is out or not? They manage it with the help of proprietary software. They manage it in some way like if this particular thing is coming in and if a particular thing is going out, overall count or overall displacement is equal to zero because ultimately nothing is there. Now, so these softwares does not come cheap, and obviously not all supermarkets can afford it. Smaller supermarkets, your mom and pop shops, obviously cannot afford it. So here, and even in the bigger organizations, sometimes those proprietary software does not, you can say, suffice the particular need, because the sheer volume of the products is so huge that the software might crash from time to time. So that is where RPA comes into play, because this is like a solution for every problem. If you have a database, you can place all the entries in there, and then once it is detected that something has been, removed, or something has been sold, then RPA can make sure to inform you or send a mail. Like in the previous slide I showed you, that RPA can actually interact with emails. Notice here, RPA can actually interact with emails. So it can send a mail to someone telling them that okay, this particular product is missing, and probably it's better that if we order them. And even going to next level, it can place an order for you once the capability of the system has been identified. IT server app monitoring. So let's consider a scenario where your server is going down very frequently, and you have to actually, or a server goes down at any given time, and if the load is very high, and the server is actually on an in-house server, so you don't have that particular cloud functionality where you have auto restart. You can implement RPA to keep a track of the server status. If the server is down, go ahead and type the command to restart the server. That's it. Very easy. Payroll, client services. So there are a lot of scenarios. And what I would recommend you to do is that after this session, when I will show you the demo, try to download the software, try to, you can say, go ahead and replicate what I'm doing. Not only that, but try to identify what are the scenarios that within your own college or within your own institution or wherever you work that you can automate. And the best way of identifying those kind of scenarios is, as for me at least, not to think about them, because thinking you can spend multiple days of time, not come up with anything, but to talk to the people who are actually facing this problem. So if I want to automate within my organization, if I want to automate a particular solution for HR, I won't be thinking from my perspective because that's myopic. I want to think from HR's perspective, and best way to think from their perspective is to ask them that okay, what problems or what are the things that you do on a day-to-day basis, and maybe get to know that okay, maybe we can automate this particular part, or maybe we can automate this entire job. That's very good for them. Okay, so what are the other benefits of RPA? Like, why does we know that RPA is easy to automate, but what are the other benefits? Well, increased execution speeds. Human is inherently slow machine after the introduction of computer. So if you compare a computer and a human performs relatively very slowly. So basically, if a bot is performing a particular action, it might be able to complete a particular action in a matter of milliseconds that a human takes a couple of seconds to complete. That's a very huge decrease in the time, because if you think about it, that might be 1,000 to 10,000% decrease in the time, depending upon the type of operation that you're performing. uh, Enhanced accuracy. Obviously, humans are very good in performing repetitive actions. Every day, when from the time we wake up to the time we go down, we have specific number of actions that we do, and every day we try to perform them. Be it enjoyment, be it studying, be it working. We do something every day, but this is also known to all of us that we mess up something almost every day. We mess up either attending a meeting, either going to a particular class, or learning a particular topic and leaving it for just a day before exam, and then asking a friend that okay, what should I do? So we mess up. Obviously, it's in our DNA. So the issue, so in order to resolve this, we have RP. I mean, not to resolve your learning problems, but to resolve the business problems of reputation. So RPA, if you code a particular step, now since it's a programming, since you have coded that okay, I want to perform these 5 steps, it won't deviate anywhere. It won't be going out of bounds, saying that okay, if this scenario comes in, maybe I can do something different. It will perform exactly those steps every single time. And if something else comes in, it will report it to you, provided that you have actually programmed it in that way. Then comes improved regulatory compliance, meaning that many times if a system is accessible to humans, there are issues that humans are not trustworthy, but bots are, or you can say scripts are. So obviously, we increase the compliance for these scenarios, reduced cost for execution. Now, when we talk about any software, we have to consider that there is a licensing cost for that comes with it. So many times, the main concern that I've seen in those kind of companies where you can say they have just started the RP implementation. The main concern there is that, see, we have already invested so much in people, and now you're asking us to invest more in RPA licenses. How does that make sense? Well, the idea here is that you don't in future you don't have to invest more amount in people, and that's why we are asking you to invest more into RPA today. It might sound like a mutual fund pitch, but that is what it is. That if you invest into RPA, or if you invest into any automation technology, basically you are freeing up your people. You're giving your people a chance to actually go ahead and do something better or work on some different kind of a project where their mind is simulated, and you can say that their focus increases. And obviously, people, when they continuously do a boring work, or they continuously do the same kind of a work which was once very interesting, they get bored. We want to do something different every single day. So people can leave, and that could be very very costly to a particular organization, because if someone with a great experience leaves, that reduces the efficiency. We don't want that, and that's why if we implement RPA, we can not only maintain our people, we can increase the execution speed, increase the accuracy, as well as decrease the cost, because a license cost is always cheaper than your people cost. That is also something to keep in mind. Then comes easier scaling. So if a process, if tomorrow, let's say, client decides that, okay, I like the way you do the work, so I am closing my other two data centers and I'm passing all of the work to you. Now, earlier you were only getting 20% load, now you started getting 100% loads. What does it mean for you? It means that you need to somehow hire more resources. Now, those resources could be in the form of humans, where, let's say, if you're having 20% team, you will be hiring 80 more people to handle four times more scenario, four times more the workload. Now, hiring 80 people is not a small feat. I mean, if anyone has a family member who is HR, just ask them how difficult it is in today's world to hire even a single person. There are a lot of things that are going on. So, other thing, and also it's very costly. Let's not forget about that. Other way to go around it is to actually go ahead and implement RPA, so that your existing team of 20 people can actually monitor the bots rather than processing something. And obviously, if, let's say, your one bot is capable to process 10 items in a day, but you are receiving 20 items in a day, you can always spin up another bot on another VM to process the remaining 10 items. And this can go infinitely as per the client requirement. So if the client says that I need 30,000 items to process, you can spin up that many number of bots. Okay, let's talk about RPA's growth, and what do I think about, like, when we say that RPA is a very good industry. So essentially, when we say that RPA is the future of work, that is backed up by a good number. By 2025, we expect at least 85 million jobs to be replaced by, you can say, 97 million new roles, which is only possible with the help of a new, you can say, division in between human, machines, and algorithms. The idea here is that humans now will be constantly working with bots. Earlier, like in the beginning of IT revolution, it was thought that an idea of people working with computers is absurd, and maybe having computers might might make you more inefficient. Well, Obviously, that's not the scenario because we have an entire sector that is contributing a lot to our country. So, and that's why we have to keep our mind open when we say that in future it's quite possible, and not only in distant future, maybe in next 1 or 2 years, people who are getting onboarded, they will be assigned a personal bot that will be there throughout their company life cycle, helping them doing the helping them in their work, helping them personally, doing a lot of things for them. So that is the way that the work is going to go in future, and there is no doubt about it. Then comes RPA market size. RPA market size is, I'll say, quite huge. Okay, so basically, you can say that within in like 2019 only, the RPA market size was thought to be around 1.4 billion in value, and this particular value is predicted to be increased by 40.6% in between 2020 and 2027. And there are a couple of other numbers on your screen as well. Keeping the time in mind, I think I should rush a little bit. But there is going to be like RPA has introduced a lot of jobs in the market. There are a lot of well-paid RPA developers earning more than $114,000 in a year. So it's a very well-paying industry as well. And apart from that, there are almost on the daily basis we are having multiple openings coming up. Okay, so that is something to think about. Okay, so jobs available in RP industry by 2025. This is the you can say prediction. So around 140 million jobs are predicted to be available by 2025, which are purely into RP. So this is a very big number, and that is the main reason why we are here today, and we have to consider RPA as a good option for our careers. RPA was voted as a number one technology, or you can say that UiPath was voted as number one in RPA and low code platform or low code category in G2, and this is for all the four regions. So this is a very big feat for UiPath, and this is why like UiPath is currently the market leader in like throughout the world, because there are multiple RPA tools available, but UiPath is having, I'll say, a different approach within the RPA market, and that is why today the demo that I'm going to show you today is going to be on UiPath itself. But obviously, you have to make a decision for yourself how to go further. I I started and I'm still continuing with UiPath. So just to show you, this is the magic quadrant, and you can see that UiPath has been declared as the market leader again. Now let's talk about what does UiPath, the UiPath platform involves. Like what are the products within the entire UiPath platform? So we are having Studio, we are having Orchestrator, and we are having Robot. What do we mean by Studio? Studio allows me to design an automation. Orchestrator allows me to control that automation. Robot allows me to execute that automation. I hope that makes it clear. This is how UiPath Studio looks like. It is designed for, you can say, it is designed keeping natural development in mind, how a particular person does the development, and it has been designed to actually go with our thoughts. So basically, I'll tell you what I mean by that. So if I have to click something, notice that I don't have to remember the type of click. I can just search for click and it will automatically show me all the options that I can perform. And on the basis of that, I can do anything. This is the UiPath orchestrator. Like I said, UiPath Studio allows me to design my automations. UiPath Orchestrator allows me to manage those automations, deploy those automations, and essentially you can say uh, run those automations and at a specific time and many other things. Then comes your bots. So basically, we have different kinds of scenarios where a particular bot could be deployed, and we have different ways in which a bot could be deployed. So within a process or within a company, there could be some processes where no bots are deployed, and it is entirely dependent upon humans. Okay, so 100% human execution. Then there could be a scenario where we have a hybrid, or we can say we have some kind of a we have a scenario where human input is required and human has to validate each and every step that a bot is doing. So that is a attended bot in tandem. Basically, the idea here is that whenever a particular bot is running, it will ask humans it will ask human a couple of questions, and human will also communicate with the bot in order to validate whatever it is. Then comes hybrid. Hybrid is a scenario where bot can run on its own, and it will only ping or it will only disturb human if in case it requires something which is very very crucial. Okay. Finally, comes fully unattended. Fully unattended are those scenarios which can run on its own. And one scenario that we talked about earlier was your calculation of the average of last 10 classes and sending the report of last 10 years for a particular class and sending the report to principal or dean. So that is actually very important, and that for that particular thing, I don't think we need any human intervention because the data must be well defined in some sort of a database. So bot can automatically access that database, extract the information for the last 10 years for a particular class, generate a report, and send it to the dean or principal. So that can run in a fully automated. Now, how do we install UiPath Studio? UiPath Studio installation is very very easy, and what I will do is I'll just close my slides and I will just talk from the perspective of how to install the UiPath product. You can see that we only have two things available now. We'll show you how to install UiPath Studio, and after that I will be showing you a very small demo uh, for the same. Okay, for demonstrating like what UiPath can. So let's come back here, and what I will do is I'll log in into my UiPath platform. This is the link that you have to go through, platform.uipath.com, or you can go to cloud.uipath.com. I will try to send that particular link in the chat as well. Okay. Once you have logged in, and obviously you can log in with the help of your normal Google account as well, so that's not an issue. On the right hand side, you can see that we have a download studio option. This is where you have to click. Or no, obviously you can explore all the other things that UiPath has to offer, but this is where I suggest you to click for now. Once you click it, you will be greeted with such kind of a screen. Okay, now here you can see that I already have a lot of bots that are designed. But in order to design a new bot, always click on process, type your process name, select the path where you want to save your project, and click on create. It will create a new project for you, and you will be seeing a screen like this. So let's talk about what the demo for the day exactly is. So let me just close and open this particular project again. Okay. So let's talk about what today's demo exactly is all about. So in today's demo, we have a very simple task. What we have to do is this is a list of all the college students that are working or not working but that are part of a particular class. My idea is that I have to essentially go ahead and generate a information gathering Excel file for each and every one of these people, And the idea here is that I want to send them to their individual mail IDs. Now let's forget about the mail ID part here. We are just focusing on generating the individual template. How the template looks like? Template looks something like this. So I have the name, age, and college name and field. Field is nothing but this is the elective that you have in your college. So it could be EC, computer science, electronics, electrical, or anything like that. Okay, so they have to fill that particular thing here. But and obviously, since I already have the full name available here, what I can do is I can actually paste the full name here. So let's see how much time does it takes me to actually go ahead and do this particular thing. So just have a look at your clocks. So I will open the folder. I will open the input file. Let's open this particular thing. What I will do is I will go to the template, copy this particular template. I will go back to the folder, to the output folder. I will right click and create a new folder or create a new Excel file. Let's keep the name as is for now. Next thing that I have to do is once the file is open, I will paste this particular thing here. I will go back and I will fetch the name of the person from here. And I will paste the name of the person in the name section and save it, and that's it. I have to close this particular thing now, and then I have to rename the Excel file with this, like with the name of the person. Okay, so I will rename it something like. You see, I think that thing is not on my clipboard anymore. So this is it. Okay. So with my estimation, it took me somewhere close to 35 to 40 seconds. Okay. Just for the demo purpose, let's and for the easier calculation, let's round it off to 1 minute. Let's say on average, we took 1 minute to process one row. How many rows are there? If you see, we have 100 rows available here. So, if you consider 100 rows, now the issue is that with 100 rows, 1 minute per row, meaning 1.5 hour to complete this simple task. It's not a very difficult task. It's a simple task. Now, obviously, once you go ahead and you get a rhythm, you can maybe complete it under, let's say, 20 seconds. But still, it's a very, very huge time. If you complete it under 20 seconds, maybe you can complete it under the entire task under 1 hour or maybe 50 minutes. But still, 50 minutes for just this small task doing manually, it's ridiculous as well. Okay, okay. So let's see how we can automate this particular task using robot. Let's come here. So first thing that I have to do is I have to fetch the data from a given Excel. So what I will do, I will read the particular Excel file, okay, and I will say I use read range activity here. So before talking about read range, I have to read a particular Excel file. Within Excel file, if you're not aware, we have ranges available. Ranges meaning from where to where the data is actually available on the machine. So if I go here, here I can specify a range. So I can say A1 to A100. So it will select everything from A1 to A100. As you can see here, A100, every data till A100 have been selected because I typed the particular range. So I know that within Excel we have ranges. So I can search for read activity here. And I can see that we have read range activity available here for Excel. And I have read range activity available here for workbook as well. We have it available for workbook as well. I can use both, And there is a distinction like in what scenario you should use Excel and in what scenario you should use Workbook. We will talk about that particular thing. Okay. So we will talk about this particular thing afterwards. So use the read range of workbook. Now here there are simple inputs that I have to provide. So basically, I can I can provide I have to provide the workbook path. So my workbook path is basically available in input folder and out on this input.xlsx. Sheet name I can get from here, so it's name. Okay, it's name, and then range I will leave blank because I want to get everything. Here I have to create a table variable. If you're not aware about variables, what variables are? Variables are just some storage unit within which we can store the data that we have to use later on. So I will create a variable with the name of dt underscore input data. That's it. So I have my input data. Now what I have to do is for each row I have to generate a new template. So firstly I will read this particular template file as well. And what I will do, I will right click and copy this particular activity, and then I will right click and paste this activity. Why I did that, the reason behind why I did that was that I know that most of the parameters are here, most of the parameters here are going to be the same. Apart from the fact that I have to change this particular thing to a template, because now I'm reading from template sheet. See the sheet name here is template now. The file name is still the same, but I have to also change the variable name because it's a different data set. So I will create a variable called dt underscore template. Now I am using a shortcut Control K to create this variable. So just have to click here and click on Control K, create a variable. But you can always create a variable here as well, in the variable panel. Okay. So you can see that I have two variables. Both are of type table or data table. Okay. So once I have my data available, I will use for loop. Why? Because I said that for each name which is available in the Excel file. So for each row. So basically, row which is available in the data table will constitute a particular name. So dt input, I will extract the name of the particular person first. So I will use assign activity for that. Assign activity allows me to extract the name of the person. So within current row, I know that the item is available in the first column only. So current row dot item, and here I can provide my column name. What is the column name? Column name is nothing but here. If you go at the top, notice the column name is full name. So I will copy the full name value and paste it here. And I will write dot toString here because I want to maintain the type as string only. Excel can store multiple different types: integer, boolean, strings, text. I want to have my data available in a string form. Then I will create a new variable here, string underscore uh, full name. That's it. Okay. Now what I want to do is I want to actually create a particular file. So in order to create a file, I have to use write operation. So I will use write range. Just like in order to read Excel, I use read range. For writing a particular Excel, I use write range. So I will use write range here, and write range I have to generate the output path. So within the output folder, I have to create a new Excel file with the person's name followed by .xlsx. Got it? So it will create, for example, if I'm creating a file for Ishmeet, it will create a file with the name of ishmeet.xlsx in output folder. Sheet name, let's provide it as input. Okay. Cell, let's leave that particular thing blank and data table as template. Okay. And what I also want to do here is just one step. Let's ignore headers here. I will tell you afterwards why we did that. And the final thing that I want to do here is I have created my Excel file and I have the template information here. The final step that I told you, that we also need to place the name of the particular person inside the name cell, because I don't want the person to be typing everything at all the times. I will write cell. Since I have to place the name in a specific cell, so I will use write cell activity. Again, provide the file name by copying and pasting it here. Again, provide a sheet name by copying and pasting it here. But at this time, I will provide the cell name as well. The cell name is going to be A2. Okay. So why A2 cell? Let me see if I have this particular thing available. So you can see that, okay, it should not be A2. Thank God we saw that. It should be B1. Because I want the name to be available here. So we will type B1 here. Okay. And what I want here to be written string underscore full. And that's it. That's all that this is all that was needed for a particular for this task completion. Now let's see how much time does it take for this particular bot to complete the task that would have taken me around 1.5 hours. And that's it. Under 10 seconds. So see how powerful this technology is. Not under 10 seconds, but okay, let's say under 20 seconds. The task that would have taken me around 1.5 hours, or let's say 50 minutes, in a very good day, it would have taken me at least 50 minutes to complete, 50 to 60 minutes to complete. It only took the bot 14 seconds to complete. This is the power of RP. This is the power that. And how much time did it take us to build this particular bot? Hardly, I think, under 15 minutes. Under 15 minutes, we were able to complete it. So 15 minutes plus 14 seconds. With all the time that we, you can say, invested in development, and I speaking continuously, explaining to you what I'm doing, it only took us 15 minutes rather than 1 hour 30 minutes to actually get this work done. Now let's also see the result, because it's okay that the bot took less amount of time, but was it able to generate the result? That is what we are interested in. So obviously I made a spelling mistake while typing the file path, so sorry about that. But let me see if I have the files available here, and for sure I have 100 files available here for each person that was available within the Excel. So that is what is important. That I have all the data available here with me for processing. So if I open any one of these, so I'm opening currently for Bobby Rose. Okay, Bobby Rose, you can see that input, the sheet name is input data, and in the name cell we have Bobby Rose already populated. So now Bobby does not have to actually populate his name here. He just needs to populate these three fields. That is the benefit of R. And obviously, I can go beyond this particular thing. This is like, again, the tip of, not even the tip of iceberg. This is a very small process. You can go way beyond this particular process, and you can save a ton of time and a ton of money for any given organization. And that is the main reason why we encourage people to come into RPA, in the very beginning. Because obviously, if you come to RPA, you will be having a very good advantage compared to the people. Like if you come into RPA right out of your college, you will be having a very good advantage compared to the people who actually had to learn the RPA after college and while they were working. So I was also one of them. I had to learn RPA while I was working on something else. I became good at RPA, and today I'm MVP as well. But the journey could be much simpler for you if you start investing the time when you actually have time to just to invest in learn. So that would all make a journey very easier. But something that made my journey very easy was academy. Yoabath Academy was is one of the only, you can say, academy, or you can say one of the only platforms that I know which offered RPA which offered RPA learning for free, and it was like a very good platform for me to learn not only to learn RPA, but also to actually go ahead and practice RPA, because I firmly believe in not only theoretical learning but also the practicality of a particular thing. I'm a kind of a person who actually went ahead and attended all the practical classes in my college, but hardly attended any of the theoretical ones, because I know that those concepts are already available in the books. So I really like this concept of practical teaching here. You have to complete a task at the end of every single class in order to complete that particular lesson and move on with your next particular thing. So these kind of things actually allow you to grow more. Okay. So just to show you how to access this particular thing, all you have to do is just you need to go to academy.yourpod.com and just log in and start learning RPA right now. Okay, so that's it. I mean, that is so, and that's it. That like it, this particular thing cannot be any simpler. One more thing that you can do for yourself is you can go to learning by role, and within here, you can choose the kind of role that essentially you think that is more suitable for you. Since you people are just starting, you can either go to RPA Developer Fast Start, or you can go to RPA Developer. You can go to RPA Starter course for now, or RPA Developer Foundation course. So my suggestion will be go start with RPA Starter, then pick up RPA Developer Foundation, and then pick up RPA Developer Advanced. It will be available somewhere. Okay, so if you start with these two courses, you will be having a very good idea of what essentially UiPath does and how to program in UI. So that is the idea behind this. Now let me load my slides back, and you can always join our student community as well. Let me share the link with you in chat for this particular thing. So do attend these two links. Okay, and apart from that, we also have certifications available. We do community events a lot, almost let's say almost on daily basis. Somewhere in the world, there's a UiPath community event happening. Okay, so you have to, if you want and if you're learning, it will be very great if you can attend those events and essentially accelerate your learning, because in those events just like these, experts are there showing their knowledge and also introducing a lot of new things that you might not have thought of or that might be very crucial for you. And with that, it's like we are done for the day. So let me just glance through the chat if we have any questions.
Hey, hi, Ishmael. It was a really great session.
Thank you, thank you.
So, we have a couple of questions. I'm bringing it up on the screen.
Mhm.
Uh, the first question is, what kind of career can someone make in this field? Like, I mean, you have already covered it, but if you could answer it in a very crisp manner, that would be great.
Sure. So when you talk about career, see, this is I'll say it's a bit vague question because career is different for everyone. For me, my personal goal was to become a developer with good, logical skills, and UiPath definitely has played a key role in that. Today, even though I'm working as a Python developer and also working on UiPath, UiPath actually helped me in building my logical skills, and that is one thing that you will notice in the hiring of within your hiring session as well. That company looks for a logical person, and it will not go with the person that has knowledge of, let's say, 10 different programming language. If you are a type of person who is having logical knowledge, the company will choose you because they can teach you any kind of a platform, and you can start implementing business logics within it. So obviously for me UiPath played that kind of a role where it helped me in building the logics while I was learning it and while I was implementing different projects. And obviously we have different kinds of projects which are available for free on UiPath forum as well. The link has already been shared in the chat, and you can always reach me on LinkedIn. So I'm also sharing my LinkedIn profile if you have any, if any one of you is having any further doubts.
Next is I would like to be a UiPath influencer. So I guess the influencer can answer the question.
Okay, so see, obviously you can become UiPath influencer, start contributing to UiPath community. You are most welcome. The only thing that I will say in today's influencer world is that be very careful about what you talk. Okay, that you don't. I know that people think like they know everything, but research is a big part of what I say. Even before coming to this particular session, I spent nearly half an hour looking through different forums, checking through different things, seeing that if something, if my deck, the deck that I proposed, showed in front of you, whether it is outdated or not. So these are just very small things, but obviously the kind of things, the kind of demo that I showed you, I had to. This is something that I was not showing a couple of, let's say, a couple of sessions ago. But again, you have to be very active, and it's not like if you do something once you are an influencer. No, you have to be very very active and also
And
know what you're talking about.
and eventually it's all about the contribution, right, to the community. I guess
Exactly.
that plays a very important role.
Absolutely,
So
absolutely.
there were a couple of questions around how the attendance will be taken. So guys, it's all about learning. There is no attendance or something. It's just about learning. We'll send a video to you. If you missed it out, you can have a look at it on the mail. Yes, to complete the diploma you have 24 hours now, starting now. We'll send a mail just after this session. So we have one question from Manali Gujarati. How much accuracy we can consider if we implement RPA? Ishmeet, you're
I'm
on
sorry, I
mute if
was
you're
on mute.
speaking.
Yes, yes, yes. Could you
Yeah.
please repeat the question?
How much accuracy we can consider if we implement RPA?
See, you can get an accuracy of almost, not almost, but exactly 100% if you implement RPA properly. See, if a human is doing kind of a work and if he is very good at it, if he or she or if they are very good at it, then essentially you can also get 100% accuracy with human. What RPA brings is a 100% accuracy plus consistency of that accuracy. Because ultimately it's a program, it will not introduce its own biases.
Yeah. What are the salary packages in RPA and automation?
See, as a beginner, you will be getting a beginner's package only. But like I said, as per UK norm, the salary package can go up to $114,000 in US. Having that said, for India, you can always, for a particular organization, let me tell you the trick that I use because I also don't know which company is offering how much. But we have Glassdoor. You can always go to Glassdoor and search a particular organization, and there is a section for the average salary as a software engineer. They are no RPA is no different from any software engineering field. So, for that particular company, you can check the salary package there. But this is just an estimate that 114,000 if you are living in US, this is how much you will be earning. And the starting salary is $63,000, as you can see.
And it also depends, just my take on this, Ishmit, correct me if I'm wrong, it also depends
Hmm.
upon the skill set and the experience you have in RP, right? Because one of my
Absolutely.
friends, when I was in college, he got a double digit package being a fresher in RP, and the other got a single digit just because of the difference in skill set.
Exactly, exactly. See, like that's why I really don't like to answer this question from the Indian perspective because it's 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 very variable. Okay, it's not static that okay if you come into RB you will be earning a 8 lakh package. I started working at a very low salary package. So I and gradually I grew on this particular thing. So the main thing for you right now to consider is that RPA can give you the packages that you cannot even imagine, but you have to work for it. If you work for it hard enough, obviously you will achieve, and that is I think true for any kind of a thing.
Same, totally agree to that. So we had one thing from Electromiss, so don't do the live private. So it will not be private, it will be public. Right now it's unlisted. We'll send this video link on mail to everyone, and along with that, we'll make this video public. So no need to worry on those part. Thank you so much for the great session. Great session. Thank you, team. So we have already received feedback on the session, Ishmeet. So I guess that's it for today's session. If you have any queries, feel free to join in. Reach out to Ishmi, reach out to our community. I'm just sharing the link. You guys can join. You guys can join our community. Just give me a second. The link is in the chat. Feel free to join in our community and do share it on social media, guys. Share your feedback on social media. How was the session? Did you like it or not? What are the things you learned? It will be really great because this is the only thing we look forward to, right? Appreciation and valuable feedback from the community so that we can improve when we do our next session. So thanks a lot, Ishmeet, for joining in. What is the scope of RPA and automation? Sid, this thing was already answered multiple times in this session, and there's a slide, future aspects of RPA, right? You guys can have a look. You can just like put the video a bit like half an hour back, and you can have a look at that. So we have already reached the time. So thanks a lot, everyone, for joining in. Thanks a lot, Rishmi, for taking out time and weekend morning. And thanks a lot, all the people who have joined in. For further more queries, reach out to Ishmi, reach out to our community. There are experts ready to answer you.
Okay, thank
Yes,
you
you
so
can
much for
start
having me.
submitting a diploma now.
Yeah, you can start submitting.
Yeah. Thank you. Thanks a lot, everyone. Take care. Bye bye.